And action.
Hello and welcome to Beats, Rhymes and Life podcast. I'm Shakira.
I'm Ash.
The one and only Riz.
And we gave Shakira back her job today, so
she's had it back, man.
I'm hoping that, I'm not getting edged out, guys.
No, we value your contribution.
Obviously, last time Ash took my ending, and it was just like, oh.
We gotta keep it surprise, like some surprise.
Gotta mix it up sometimes, huh?
Yeah. How's everyone been?
Good. All good.
I am so tired.
You can hear the energy is kind of low in the room right now, but I've had an interesting week.
I did get in till at 4 as well. So.
Oh, are you outstepping?
Not really. It was
Date
just
night?
No. It was a family birthday.
Okay.
That was good.
Well, I've doubled up on my gym sessions, guys.
Oi.
Trying to get my summer body.
Summer body ready?
Yeah. No, not really, but yeah, lots has happened this week. Well, since we last recorded, should I say? Maybe not this week.
Yeah, a lot has happened.
Let's get right in.
Right.
Who wants to go first? What's on the agenda today, Ash?
You've all got the group chat.
No, I just wanted to quickly, like,
Are
on the
you
way
sure
here.
we have the group chat?
No, on the way here.
I know, I feel like I'm the poster boy. Oh, Ash, what did you want to talk about
No,
this
but
week, Ash?
you're the one that gives us some structure.
Yeah.
Because
Ash is always posting stuff for us to look at. And
Yeah, that just gets ignored.
no, I look.
I have bare conversations about
Can I
myself
just
in our
say,
WhatsApp group.
that I actually did everything that you said in that message.
No,
I listened to all of the albums.
I really appreciate that. Shakira. You don't know how much that means to me. That my hard-earned time sharing this information actually went to use.
I did it all.
Yeah.
I was like, Ash is going to be so proud of me.
I know we did our homeworks.
Well done, guys. Well done.
On the way here, me and Shakira, I decided to listen to this new Drake track
I'm quite
that
sad
dropped.
that he did that. He took me by surprise. with
I
that
listened
one.
to like 45 seconds of it. I watched some part of the video. That was it.
Oh, I haven't
didn't
seen
know
the
there was a
video.
video.
Does the visuals
the
make
videos
it?
on Twitter.
Oh.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not
I
not
don't have
impressed.
much to say.
To be honest with you, like,
It's on sample Lauryn Hill again to get that.
my thing with it is that obviously, like he says, what's it, Louisiana? So I get the bop in terms of the tempo and the shouting in the back of the song.
Yeah,
I get it.
This is the next vibe he's stealing. The
So-
next wave he's right.
We've seen him kind of dabble there before as well.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna lie, that particular song, you don't sample that unless you're gonna spit some real
You don't sample that and just turn it into
a
some.
party like anthem.
Yeah.
I have issues with things like that though. For me,
We
if you're
know
not
you
going to
do.
improve upon it, leave it the fuck alone. Like, what? Like, you need to be able to make it great or add greatness to it. Why are you troubling classics for no reason?
Do you know, that reminds me of a point. I think I've heard Faith get flipped.
Oh
like
my
7, 8,
god!
5, 6
They
times. in the
actually
last
need
year.
to stop it.
And don't get me wrong, most
Some
of the
them are
ones
good.
I've heard
Yeah.
are good. Not all of them, but most of them. Like the Vibber one, I like that.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I like Trey Av's one as well. I don't think anyone's really
I
heard
can't
it.
say I heard that.
Yeah, Trey Av did a
I probably
decent
ignored
job.
it because it's Trey average.
It's the same sample as the Viva one.
Oh,
as
is
well.
it?
Yeah.
But I think everyone's using the same sample. Eric Bellinger just sampled it on his
I like
single
that.
of his
Single.
new album.
I like that.
At first I didn't like it, but it's kind of sitting. There's a couple other people, but yeah, I've just heard it bare. Everyone's sampling "Come Over" and one of the other songs off that Faith
The
album.
interlude.
Yeah, everyone's taking it.
To be honest with you, it's kind of easy. It's like
Yeah,
one of the.
Skyzy did it as well. Yeah, bare people done it last year. But yeah, it's easy, isn't it?
I played one on here as well before a while
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
W. That's what I mean. That's another one of the
Yeah.
tracks.
In terms of sampling, obviously, it's something that generally I like when it's done well,
Yes,
but
not lazy like Tory Lanez.
Fucking hell.
can we get into that as well while we're on?
Yeah, we can get into the.
I'm not sure
Tory.
if anyone's been paying close attention to the R&B that's been bubbling up, but Ash mentioned that Eric Bellinger has just released a project. So anyone that is aware, obviously Eric Bellinger is kind of like one of those R&B artists that is probably more renowned for his writing more so than his actual
definitely he's been
output as an artist. But he's just dropped a project. I haven't listened to it yet, but I've listened to 2 of the songs. One Ash just mentioned, and then there's also the diss to Tory Lanez, which is one of the funniest things I've listened to.
It's not on that album, which obviously makes sense. But yeah, he took Tory's beat and dissed him over it, singing.
Sing.
It was R&B.
Yeah, he sung this song.
It's called Yikes, and he took one of the songs of Tory's album and rapped. So do you know? Sorry, he sung and then half rapped like 8 bars of it. You know what? It was actually kind of hard for an R&B song.
It was funny the way that, like, for me,
the way it was constructed.
The way you would expect R&B beef to go is like we see each other and then we get like I'm kind of more expected nowadays to have the R&B singers actually like display like being active rather than getting each other via music. So to have someone diss another R&B star over an ad-lib and melody as well, like it was just something interesting. And to be honest with you, like we all kind of know that Steely Lanes like for me it's getting jarring now, innit, in terms of like you can't keep stealing stuff. Like my thing is you can't hold yourself in such high esteem and not have no original ideas or content. In terms of, I'm not mad at Tory Lanez for trying to capitalize off the wave, innit? But he's now on his 2nd album, and it's like, okay, we've seen you chicks tapes, we've seen the trajectory in terms of like, now show us some of you in it, show us some development as an artist, and like maybe show us something else, perhaps.
Maybe there isn't anything else.
Maybe that's the point that Eric Bellinger made in the song. It's like all you do is copy from other people, but like what else is what was the bar? I can't remember the bar. There was I
can't remember, but there was a few that made me
we'll post it on the Twitter and you lot can have a listen to
it. Tory's different, but this song was funny. Tory's not really gonna respond, but you know what, as much as I don't like his music, one thing I do rate him for is that he's not afraid to go and step to people. Like when he had the whole thing with Travis Scott when he said he'd wrote his song, and like they were in a room with how many people, and he was like, so what is it, like, do you want to apologize? Should we shoot the fair one? We can have a one-on-one right now, everyone get out. And I'm like, shit, this little dude's really about it.
I'm not gonna lie though, it's magic because like short man syndrome is really a thing.
Oh my days.
He's like a little Jack Russell, isn't it?
Like I've come across so many examples of it like recently in my like personal life that it's like sometimes, innit, I'm not gonna lie, wear an Air Force or something, man. Like Jesus Christ.
Get out some Cuban Hills like Prince, innit?
Jesus Christ, man, get your ego in check, bro.
But what's it? Since you mentioned him, Eric Bellinger, you know what? His album's actually alright. There's it kind of jumps from place to place at points, but I think I deleted maybe 4 or 5 tracks off the whole thing. The rest I quite like. It's some of it. Do you know what? For somebody that gets at others about biting, I think it's different for him because he's a prolific songwriter. So there's bits on the album where he sounds like Tank, and then he sounds like someone else, and there's someone else. And there's a few obvious samples, like he sampled 112, You Already Know, and kind of did. I don't know if Hitmaker produced it, but that kind of
sounds like Hitmaker.
And there was a few others as well where he sampled reasonably well-known songs, more modern stuff, and kind of flipped it. But I was actually quite surprised. It's kind of good. I guess there's one thing we should probably just get out the way, because off the bat, Fab Turner.
I was kind of hoping that we
No, we'll just go over it quickly because I think can't go without mentioning it. I think.
Thoughts?
Wild, very very wild. It does make me wonder about some of his previous lyrics, though. How true some of them might be. So I'm keen to put allegedly in here, although he's been charged, so it's more than likely exactly what happened. But he allegedly beat up his girlfriend Emily B, knocked her 2 front teeth out, and then the rest after that is what we all saw in the TMZ video of him threatening to shoot her brother and her dad, as you do.
I have a lot of questions.
I've got a bullet with your name on it. obviously there's been other rumours that have come out since that she allegedly stole 300k off him, and when he saw her in LA, which was apparently the cause of this in the first place, was that she'd stolen that money and then was cheating on him, even though we know the whole bullshit. Come on, they've had like an on and off relationship for like 16 years. But
like, in order to cheat on someone, you would need to be together, right?
Yeah, like actually together.
Okay, cool. Shakira?
I'm just
speechless.
I actually just why? Like, why, Fab? Like, there's nothing even to like. I just can't. Like, I actually just can't. That video made me sick as well. And then people. What was strange is seeing people come to Fab's defence when Fab wasn't defending himself.
Yes.
That's what was strange to me. Like, how can you say, oh, it's he says, she says? No. There is no he says, she says. He's not saying anything. She's not saying anything. All we have is the police report. Like, that's all we have. Yeah. It's not he says, she says. It's this is what's happened. This is the police report that's been filed. And people, like, it was easier for people to believe that she was lying and knocked her own front teeth out than that.
Yeah, like, do you know what it is?
That to me was wild.
One of our friends really always brings it up is that, you know, if you like somebody, like whether it's an artist, a footballer or whatever, when you like them as a person, it's very easy to dismiss anything that's been thrown at them. Like, Fab's a likeable character. Some people may not rate him as like an elite rapper or whatever, but in general, most people like Fab. We haven't seen anything to not like Fab. I think the most we've had before this was saying he's maybe pussy because he didn't really beef with Jim Jones or whoever else, and even then we know about Street Fam and all of that. So yeah, I think it's just very wild. It does make me question his character.
I have a few questions in regards to, like, there's no, for me, in it, like, I was raised around like women and stuff, like, so a lot of like my elders were like I spent a lot of time with my aunt growing up, and like just generally the consensus is like, even with my male cousins, like we all kind of come to the common understanding, even when we're having debates and stuff, like it's just sometimes just walk away in it, in terms of like what was actually, I won't say scary, but the maddest thing about it is you can hear like children in the background,
children screaming. That's, you know, that's the bit that got me, because obviously that the way it looked was that Emily B was between the cars, and like he looked like he had a knife or something. I don't know what
he was waving something
like he was you know, but yeah, that she's obviously trying to film and take pictures of him from there, and then you can hear the kids screaming and shit, and it's just like, yeah, that's all too much. Like,
my thing is the optics are extremely bad.
There's no spinning this.
But I'm just I'm not necessarily gonna dismiss, because I wasn't there, I don't know the background. Obviously they have a checkered relationship history.
Yeah, of course.
Like Fab being, for me, what appears to be a pretty cool like guy.
Yeah, what you can take from the surface.
Spark this type of reaction.
This is the thing. There's no excuse at all. Like, there's no.
But in terms of, I look at it like
I want to know what makes somebody.
I'm
do
just
that,
curious to see whether, like, this is the question: is this something that is a regular thing in their household, or is it something just completely random that's taken place? And obviously, because cameras are obviously the go-to. Like, my thing is, in the middle of the heat of the action or battle, I don't understand the psychology of grabbing your phone. Like, to me, I've seen so many instances of things here where people are so quick to become news reporters that TMZ, to me, if I'm in the middle of like raging emotions, my phone is the last thing that I'm thinking of. But we see it consistently, and it's like, when these videos are posted, we only have that as the reference in it, so we don't know what's happened before and we don't know what's happened after. So there's so many questions for me. I don't really have an opinion on it, apart from the fact that I don't personally believe that it's ever right to put your hands on a woman, unless there are a few instances in which I feel that you are entitled to defend yourself.
That's the key term. I think defend yourself. I don't think it's ever right to hit a woman, but
however,
self-defense or restraining
within those circumstances, there's also a set thing. Like if I can say, for instance, if someone's wielding a weapon at you or a knife or whatever, like you do whatever you need to disarm that person and then restrain that the person. Whether that means, like, I've heard funny stories of people like doing mad, like one of my friends said that his girl was acting mad wild with a knife, so like he, in his head, the first thing that he thought of was throw his phone at her.
What?
But he said that he threw the phone at her, so she moved in a particular direction to dodge the phone and then tripped her as she moved in that direction.
That actually sounds like a smart move, to be fair.
So
Disarm the situation, is it?
So she's now obviously on the floor. He's obviously jumped on her, got the knife out of her hand or whatever. But that seems to me to be like what would be called, like, in the moment.
Is reasonable.
That's reasonable.
It's also very smart.
Yeah, in the moment.
Yeah, he's not boxed her and then gone,
Because I'm not gonna lie, like, as much as like some, like, I grew up in a family and like I've seen like some of my female members of families like go toe to toe with men.
Yeah.
And although like they would say they could, there's a difference between a woman throwing hands and a man throwing hands, if you know what I mean. In terms of like, I've seen women that even that video that popped up online where the guy comes in and he smacks the boyfriend up, he smacks
the whole family up.
Yeah, like there's like, to me, I don't think a woman is supposed to feel the full force of a man's fist anywhere. Like, I just don't agree with it. So like, if you can do something in order to prevent that, then take those options, innit? So it's just going to be interesting to see, because the terroristic threats are what I think the police are focusing mainly on.
It makes me think about his lyrics when, like, on the Hope, when he's like something, I sending a threat and it's end up with a bullet in your throat, like, of the Hope. And I'm like, boy, that's kind of what you said to the dad. Like, I've got a bullet with your name on it. Well, do you know how wild that is to say that to somebody?
But that, to be honest, innit, it's not far-fetched given some of the other instances that we've heard him and his people get into. Also, Jules Santana has found himself, he's
on bail. He
got released yesterday.
What again, a clown.
I don't understand, like, with someone that's not necessarily, like, I wouldn't see him moving around like most of these artists right now. Like, he's not really doing anything real musically, so I'm not sure how big his team is, but that just seems like a personal error of judgment.
That's what it strikes me as. I think he's obviously, because the thing about him, I was reading a lot about him recently and stuff, and they saying that like for ages he's had a pill problem and stuff, which is what they were saying. There were pills in his bag too as well. So he's obviously been moving around and whatever, and he's got his pills and he's strapped as well. And then at some point, when it's come to either packing or grabbing a bag to go to where he needs to go, he probably hasn't thought about what's remaining in there. But we'll see what happens. I think the fact that he got bail is probably a very good sign on his behalf, because realistically that's a federal charge, carrying a firearm in an airport.
At an airport.
Yeah, that's very wild.
Hopefully he gets a nice community order or a hefty fine. But because to go to jail for something so stupid.
And that's the thing, it's stupid. And also, like, as fine as he hasn't been active musically, he is part of a multi-million-dollar selling, flipping, or multi-million record selling group. So there's still royalties and stuff to come from that. It's not like he's a nobody, innit? Like, but then the first thing he's done in coming out on bail is saying, I was just getting ready to drop a load of new music.
You've been saying that for the best part of 10 years.
He was dropping loose tracks for like the last year and a half, and just we ain't seeing shit.
Just the last little on our police roundup, DMX has also found himself. He got a year.
Do you know what? I'm not laughing at the fact he's gone to prison. I'm laughing at the circumstance of. So they said
he played
Slipping.
He played Slipping. So
you don't understand how much that killed me.
Like,
I was like, he's going to jail.
Yeah, when they were like, it was like, he could be looking at 5 years, and it was like his lawyer intends to play his music to the judge. It was like, this ain't gonna end well.
My thing is, what does slipping have to do with tax? Well, it must have worked because he only ended up getting.
No, but I proper dad. I was like, he's going to jail. There's no way about it. He's going to jail.
And he got, I think, a $2.3 million tax bill as well,
which is manageable
for a year, and then 2.3 million. And you know what, the sad for X, it is probably manageable. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure he's not rich by any means anymore, but he's fully capable of earning money and still has tons of royalties and stuff coming in.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong, the 16 kids probably don't help. But that's definitely a very troubled man. I wish him the best through this.
Hopefully this little stint can help.
I thought he was back like last year after the last time, and he was looking healthy again and stuff, and sounded a lot more coherent. And to be fair, at least this one wasn't drug related. It was tax in it. So. Yeah.
Never mind. And has there been any projects? I know Ash sent a bunch of
bare projects.
Stuff.
Bare projects.
Can we have a quick roundup? I'm gonna quickly shout out Le Suave. They dropped a project. I think last week or the week before. No, I say they, he.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's alright, to be honest. Kind of similar vibe as his previous stuff. You know when it's like a project is sequenced like nicely.
Yeah.
I think it's not it doesn't punch as much as some of the other stuff that he's released previously, but I think just the fact that it's sequenced in like a cohesive way, and obviously one track transitions, obviously he's got like, it's like a conversation and each track kind of replies to what the girls are, so it's like an interview in a sense.
Okay.
So it starts out with a female obviously asking him a question, then obviously he replies.
So it's kind of like
it's like a concept. It's
album.
a concept.
Like
so yeah, should check that out.
I'm gonna check it out. I always see the name and I've just never.
No, he's alright, man.
Ever.
What else have I listened to? I have come back to me on that actually.
Cool. Well, there was actually 5 albums that dropped yesterday that I listened to. So Tom Misch dropped his debut album. He's dropped a couple mixtapes and stuff before. So Geography came out. Good album. I mean, I'd heard probably 5 or 6 of the tracks anyway. He's dropped loads of singles at his live shows. He always does previews of stuff that they're working on. It's very disco / Patrice Russian influence. You can tell that like his sound has changed a lot from his last 2 projects. But yeah, really, really good project, really cohesive, and I think he's gonna go far. I mean, to be honest, he already is far. He's completely independent. I mean, I'm sure he's got backing from his parents in doing that, but yeah, completely independent, and streams are going nuts, constantly on sold out tours. Like his next tour for November is already sold out.
Wow.
So that's brilliant.
He's that was good. Kali Uchis, I think that's how you say her name. I don't know.
I wouldn't even try and pronounce it.
I had heard her on Tyler's album. That's the first time I'd heard her, and she just released her project, and the single is a track with Tyler and Bootsy Collins. It's kind of like, I think it sampled the old Bootsy song or something.
You don't.
What is there not to like about it? Just out of curiosity.
Not that I dislike it, but it
don't really go.
To be honest, that the album itself, I like her voice a lot. I do, but it didn't grab me. The album, it didn't do any. I didn't feel anything.
The problem I found with the album, I listened to it after I listened to Tom Misch and Alina Barrez, and in comparison to those 2 albums, it seemed really, really disjointed. I feel like they were just like, okay, we've got this track from this producer, we've got this vibe, so therefore we need 2 from this kind of vibe, 2 from here, 1 from here, and exactly what you just mentioned about sequencing. I think it was all over the place. But as per usual in our playlist era, I deleted a bunch of tracks and it flowed quite well. So I think it's not necessarily as good as what's come out around it. But it's a decent album. It's nothing to shit on. I just think she needs to probably find her vibe. I think this album was clearly still experimentation, right? But it's decent. So.
Anything you've listened to, Shakira?
I listened to the Tomish album. I did like that. It's a nice, easy listening album.
Yeah,
it's very easy listening. I like that. The Keiichi song. I like her voice. I think that when she establishes herself and where it is, and her actual sound and where she's going, it will be a really good time. But it's not a bad album at all. I can't say that there are any tracks that are really awful. But
I had a couple.
I didn't think any of them were awful, but none of them really grabbed me like that. I listened to the Cardi B album.
I was leaving that to right near the end.
Yeah, we'll come to that.
Well, you can talk about it if you want.
Yeah, I listened to the Cardi B album. Obviously, I'm not a Cardi B fan, am I? But I see what she was
trying
doing,
to achieve.
And I think with what she was doing, she did that well. If that makes sense.
Very
with what
PC.
she was doing, she did that well. Like, I actually think that her album is cohesive. That's one thing I would say. It's not the sound that I particularly like. It's not for me, but I think that as an album, like, she didn't do the hip hop pop crossover. She didn't do that whole thing. She sort of kept it
authentic to herself.
It was all in the same pocket. I didn't really feel like I was listening to different tracks.
Yeah,
apart from Bodak Yellow and one or two others, just where the music is so loud or whatever in comparison, the whole sound the whole time was the same.
Yeah, it was
like, I didn't. Yeah, it's cohesive, but to me it's cohesively poor because
Do you know what the worst thing?
And I listened to it twice on purpose to try and give more of a balanced opinion, because I went into it expecting it to be trash, and the first time I was like, this is really trash, and then the second time I was like, alright, it's not as trash as I thought it was, but it's definitely not my type of music. It's not my type of music at all. I don't like that
and
stuff. I feel like
a lot of people do. So for what it is, it's good at that.
Yeah.
For what it is, it's good at that. Do you know what I mean?
The only one thing I will say about it is people keep talking about her writers and this, that, and the other. If she's got writers, then there ain't really much showing anyway, for one. And two, there's just like, I don't know, what do you expect from Cardi in the same space? Like, I think that she's getting now, because obviously the album was gold basically as soon as it was released because of Bodak Yellow and I think the other singles, but I feel like she's getting so much plaudits for what's potentially subpar work.
Alright,
but
I'll let Shakira go.
Yeah, the thing is, like, there are criticisms of her at the moment that, to me, it's like, you guys gassed her for Bodak Yellow.
It was hardly a display of excellence.
What did you think was going to go? Like, you guys were gassed about Bodak Yellow. Where did you think she was going to go from there? Like, reasonably, what do you think that she was going to do from there? For me, she's kept that same energy. She's kept it to that same level. Like, she hasn't accelerated, nor has she decelerated. She's just on that. Lyrically, to me, she doesn't have it. Like, lyrically she doesn't have it.
I agree, but I think the only display she had on the album was the first track, where she basically got a meek on.
I'm not gonna lie, the intro was hard.
Yeah, like that's the one where I was like, okay,
I listened to the intro, yeah.
You know, I didn't want to like it
because people were gassing it up, innit? And then I listened to the intro, yeah, and I was like, okay. Listen, yeah, I plugged it into my speakers, I turned it up, and I was like, okay. And then we kept it moving, and I was like, okay, we're back to Cardi.
All right,
come on, Minister is.
No, it's like kind of like. Agree with what you've both said in terms of like expectancy versus like reality in terms of I never had high expectations for it as an album.
I don't.
And that for me is why I probably don't look at it as harshly. I'm not going to judge it.
I've got one other point as well, but go on.
I'm not going to judge it like in terms of in terms of the overall climate of music in general, I can only judge it based off that, because I'm not looking at Cardi B as a phenomenal rapper or phenomenal artist. What I will say is it's a lot better than like, I didn't dislike it, if that sounds weird, because everyone expects me to be super lyrical, man, and come in here expecting
but you're
dabble.
Not super lyrical, man.
You dabble in a lot of what I would regard as trash.
So
I think you're probably the most open-minded.
For me, it wasn't a bad listen. I listened to it twice, all the way from beginning to end. The only song that I can say that I disliked with real
passion
was the Spanish joint.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's just not for me, innit?
I didn't dislike that.
Like, as soon as I heard the drums,
it didn't make sense to me.
As soon as I heard the drums, do you know what it reminds me of? On Blueprint, Ola Vito. It just like, I don't.
It was just out of place.
It's just out of place, innit? So I get it. Obviously, she is Latino, and she has to kind of cater to that demographic in some portion, but other than that, I hadn't heard, like, I'm not really in that, like, I don't go and rush and listen to whatever the timeline's saying to this, so I hadn't heard Be Careful.
I like that song.
I like the song.
See, I was gonna say, like, people are like, oh,
Be
this
Careful
is trash.
Is a decent song.
What? It's
just ironic.
People are actually saying that, like, be careful, like, oh no, I'm disappointed in that song. I'm like, I actually prefer that song to any of the songs that you have been pushing.
It's a decent song.
I've actually listened to that song by choice.
It will stay on my
I've
iTunes.
listened to that song by choice. Like, I'm not gonna say it's amazing lyrical ability, but there's something that I like about it. I like the beat. I like the whole I can hear the Spanish elements in that as well.
It's stripped down. It's just earthy. It's got that it's got a nice organic feel to it, in terms of, like, although we know that she didn't write it, it feels like she could have wrote it. But it fits.
It fits her. I think it fits her very well.
Definitely.
It's also extremely ironic, given all the offset
stuff
and rumours and stuff. I just find it hilarious. That was the next song, given the situation. I think there were two other points on the Cardi thing. One, I actually agree with Joe Budden's whole conspiracy theory and this shit. I feel like the album was very rushed. I don't have anything against it in the sense of it. Like, obviously, it's not my vibe, innit? But I personally feel like, you see the way, like, Be Careful was already a product before it went to Cardi. I think a lot of this album was like that. I think it was. I'm not going to say it was manufactured, because that's going to take away from her, because I'm sure she did do some of the writing in here, even in the way that she's rapping certain things and the way she's saying certain things. She obviously wrote stuff herself as well, but I feel like it was very much like an Atlantic play. Listen, we put however many millions in you to get Bodak to pop, to get Bartier Cardi, which didn't really pop. It was lukewarm for them. Be Careful had a decent reception, and then Be Careful only came out in the last week or two, and then the album dropped. But I do feel like it was very rushed together. I reckon, whether it's a case of people just talking shit and the label want to react, or if, that she's apparently pregnant, so then we're going to push the album forward.
The release, for me, is rushed. I don't feel the production. I feel, because I look at it, like, I was someone that was listening to her music before she popped. So it's not dissimilar from her mixed, because she had 2 mixtapes before. It's pretty much the same vibe. The only thing I will say about it is it brings the whole artist development into question. She was someone that, despite having a super big single, clearly still needed a little bit of polishing of her craft in the studio, because there's times where it's like, I know that English isn't your first language.
Definitely.
And I feel you shouldn't be presented to when you're like, mixtapes are mixtape, innit? But for someone releasing your first album, I feel like, despite the climate, you should want to put your best foot forward. Because we might never see another Cardi. Who knows what might happen in the future? So if you're setting yourself in stone, you want to put, like, for instance, Nas will forever be remembered as a dope lyricist or a dope artist in general, just because of how cold Illmatic was. For, like, I feel she missed a bit of a trick in terms of, for the time and the climate and the way things are maneuvering and changing, she could have really made a mark in terms, not just as a female MC, but for the new wave. She could have been like, and it's nothing to do with her talent level or her ability, but she could have made herself like she is a household name, but mark the moment in time.
Yeah, she could have actually made a real mark. And that's the other thing. Actually, I saw something about that was like how Cardi is the best female rapper that they'd ever heard, and this is the best album from a female rapper ever. Do you know how embarrassing it is to say that?
I don't like having the female rapper conversation.
I know we don't like having the female rapper conversation, but if you take near enough any female rapper from the early 90s to mid 90s through, they're all better than Cardi. Every single one of them, whether they wrote their lyrics or not.
Saying that's the thing.
Like, I'm not gonna take away from Cardi. There's clear differences in talent levels between whether you want to go back from Motown, etc., and 60s, 70s, and 80s through to rap from the early 80s to when it develops in the early 90s and through on. There's clear talent divides in these different decades of what's acceptable as being at the top of the game or near it. So there's always going to be that, but best rap, come on, man.
Yeah, just that's a conversation again that I just feel people.
Someone must have said on Twitter that they must have quoted a tweet or something, or quoted somebody saying, "Oh, that this is the first female rap album they've looked forward to in 10 years," and they were like, "Oh, people are always trying to diminish Nicki's Nicki's input or Nicki's stamp or something," and I was like, what the fuck does that have to do with Nicki? One, Nicki's not the only female rapper that's been out in the past 10 years.
And she don't even rap anymore anyways.
Right, Nicki doesn't have bars. Nicki does not have bars. And two, if that's the first female rap album they've looked forward to, so what? Maybe they don't generally like female rap. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, for somebody to say that that's the first female rap album that they've looked forward to, I wouldn't think that, oh, you're diminishing somebody else's
ability or
contributions. I would just think you're not really that into female rap, which is actually okay. Like, that's actually okay.
There's a lot of people like Riz that don't really care for it, but then if they hear it, they'll be like, oh, do you know what, this is actually kind of good. But wouldn't necessarily go and check for it immediately. It's not going to be the top of your list. But that's it on Cardi. The other album, Alina Barras, her name is, I don't know if I'm saying that right. I'd literally never heard of her until like 3 days ago. Dar Adams, who's a writer, and he's written for like every hip hop blog, website, magazine, etc. Like, he's a bit snooty at times, but he's got real knowledge. Like, he posted like, oh, the Alina Barras album is dropping soon, and I was like, okay, if he's saying it, then it must be worth checking, isn't it? So I added it to the list, and it's actually a good project. Like,
I think that out of the list of the albums you said, that might be my favourite. I
think it's a good balance of real R&B, and then, you know, that kind of airy fairy neo soul vibe that everyone's doing now. You know, like the kind of between like her and Jhené Aiko, Sabrina Claudio, all those people. It's like it fits.
That's
in
kind
between
of what
that
I
mesh.
wanted to get onto after we wrap this part of the show up.
The Weeknd album, anyone?
Nah,
not for me.
Did you listen to it?
No. I'll be honest, I've never liked The Weeknd.
I've never listened to it.
I can't say that I'm gonna listen to it.
I listen. He's not my kind of artist, but I listened to it, and
did it ruin your life?
Did it make you really sad and depressed?
It did.
That's what his music sounds like to me.
I didn't leave with anything. I didn't leave with anything.
No surprises there.
I felt a little bit bored.
Yeah, you probably left something.
Remember like how what I said to you guys about the Tyler album, where I felt like he was on a journey and he didn't take me. That's how I felt about this Weeknd album. Like, I can see you were going somewhere, but like, why didn't you open the doors and let me on? But yeah, that
just on the whole artist development thing, just someone that I feel we haven't really talked about in depth, but her name keeps popping up. Tink. She released an EP.
Did she?
Yeah, she did, but I didn't listen to it yet.
Nobody told me this. I loved him.
I listened to it, and it's just like, unfortunately, sweetheart, like your time has come.
She's missed her train,
you missed the boat.
But what is it?
It's Tink.
Very Tink. Okay.
So yeah, just nothing really stands out on there though.
Okay.
In terms of like her previous 2 projects, which were like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
I liked. It was a good setup to something, but then just nothing happened. And then once you've had Timberland at the beginning giving you this big build up, and it's like, yeah, she's going to be the next big thing.
That
then you
ruined her from the get go.
A good initial set of music off the back of that, and then it's like a big absence, and then this. It's just like, unfortunately, yeah. You know when you say an artist is on the clock, she's been on the clock, and then this didn't put her back into, for me.
Yeah,
where
I'm gonna have a listen. I love her.
I still need to listen to it, but I definitely feel like her lane has been taken by people like Dreezy and Jacquees, and even Dej Low started doing that kind of sound as well.
Yeah.
So
again, it's for me one of those things where there's nothing wrong with artist development in its conventional forms, but you still have to, obviously, in this climate, make sure that you give your fans something. You can't leave them completely empty, innit?
Yeah, I understand she was in a difficult situation. You know, clearly Timbo didn't want to release anything, and she had to get out of that situation and whatnot. But yeah, you have to give your fans some substance.
Just to close on that, and something that I feel we've been saying that we was going to talk about for ages, and we're in April now.
Go on.
Who do we expect to have a big year? So kind of like,
Sabrina Claudio.
I think Sabrina Claudio is pretty much already there, in the sense of her presence. So
it's grown a lot in
it's
in
grown
recent months.
massively. Exactly what we were saying about all those names we mentioned before. So people like Sabrina Claudio, Snow Allegra, people like that. Like I think Snow Allegra had a smaller presence, and then when her album dropped, all of a sudden, like, all of these fans came out of the woodwork,
because she had a show recently as well.
Like I'm not even like, I was mashed. I couldn't be bothered to go. My ticket was just sitting there on the desk, just looking at me. I was like, fuck this. But it looks like I missed a good show. I saw a lot of footage from it. But I think she's gonna go. Sabrina Claudio, like I said, I think is already there. Snow Allegra is probably right behind her right now. It might just be in terms of label marketing at the moment that makes me see it that way. In terms of what I'm seeing on social and when stuff's getting released, I think they're both gonna have a big year. Who else do I think
I was
is gonna have a
thinking
big year?
Masijo, but I haven't seen much from him recently.
He was touring though, not too long ago. That might be why.
But I was thinking Masijo would.
I'm putting my bets firmly behind HER.
Yeah,
I think she's.
I feel like she's sort of on the cusp anyway. Like, I think that she's.
Yeah, I think she's right on the edge, because I think she's on that point where all the kind of neo soul heads or R&B heads love her shit anyway, and then she's on the point where she's got like the hype beast right by the side as well.
Yeah, because Rihanna's obviously mentioned
that they've got
stuff in the works, so that can only mean one thing.
Yeah, she will fucking blow. She's big time if that happens.
Yeah, definitely.
I think in terms of from here, I think Emma V is going to have a big year when her album finally comes out. I think she's probably, it seems that she's made so many connections and stuff anyway, and has been touring loads, and you know, that extra 100, 200 people a night in however many different venues all over the place, it all adds up. And she's been doing a lot of production work as well, so I reckon she's going to have a huge year. Children of Zeus,
definitely.
I think they're going to go off big time. I think for them, where they've come from and how their journey's been, I think any success is success for them, but I really think they're going to hit it. It's not necessarily going to be mainstream and like, you know, tons and tons of records sold, but they're going to get booked a hell of a lot more, and I think a lot more people are going to know about them, because I saw them was it 2 or 3 weeks ago now? I don't
You're
think I
like
mentioned
an
it.
unofficial third member of Children of Zeus.
Oh yeah, that's funny. Yeah, so they had merch, so they got the t-shirts, the Children of Zeus t-shirts with the their logo on the front, and then on the back of it the lyrics from Still Standing, just the yeah bit. And I had that on when I went to see them at the First Word Records birthday party in Stokey a couple of weeks ago, and that's their label. And when I went in there, it was a mixed crowd. Like, it was a little bit more, you know, yuppie-fied and whatnot. Okay, a lot more. It wasn't that mixed, to be fair. But people kept asking me in the beginning, like, outside, the guy was like, oh, that shirt you're wearing, is that Child of Zeus? Like, I was like, Children of Zeus. He was like, what, are you with them? I was like, no. Oh, okay, because I was like, what? Oh, no, don't worry. Okay, cool. And then when we're in there, and then when we're in there now, probably another 3 or 4 times throughout the night, people kept tapping me on my shoulder, going, oh, you with Children of Zeus? No, because there were white guys in there wearing Children of Zeus t-shirts. They weren't getting asked if they were in Children of Zeus. I was like, I know I'm mixed race and I got a t-shirt here, but no. And that's what I was saying after the night. I was like, I felt like the unofficial member of the group. Like, I was like, what's going on here? But yeah, they performed a few tracks off their new album as well, and everything sounded sick. I think they've actually covered the bases very well. Their performance is really good, and to me, even just seeing that kind of crowd into their music can only be a good thing. It's not just like soul heads or hip hop heads, it's all sorts of people that are gonna help push them. So with them, I'll buy whatever drops. I bought the 2 t-shirts, I bought the EP, I bought the vinyl. I just gave it to my dad because I don't even have turntables, so I'll fully support what they're doing. I think they're gonna have a big one.
I'm gonna stick with what my original prediction was. Obviously Knox, he just got, I don't know if it was
he signed with Island Records, but I personally think it's a partnership deal. Okay. They haven't really put out any information, because I even said, oh, like, it's good that you signed to Island, but let's hope they don't try and change your direction. Because on that note, that Hooper single with Notes
was a bit,
it's not shit,
but it's more Notes than it was Knox.
Yeah, it's more of a Note song with a Knox feature as opposed to but I think for him to sign to them now, where he's been building his buzz for a few years now, makes me think that he's probably I don't want to compare it, but he's probably in a similar situation to Nines, where Nines' album was basically done by the time he signed to XR. I reckon Nuts is in a similar situation. He's pretty much ready to go.
It's funny you say that, because obviously his management, we tried to reach out to them a while ago to see if he can get on the show, but obviously we didn't really get much of a response. But it turns out that I actually have recorded because obviously his management group, obviously, you know, sometimes when you just don't make the connection, but obviously I've recorded music at his manager's studio, and but it's just weird because obviously he's ended up since then passing on, so RIP and all that. But it's just mad because although someone seems as though they're completely out of reach, it's always mad to know that how much in reach you are. Like, everything's mad in terms of, like, within London, it's like one phone call and it can,
everyone knows someone. People are easier to reach than it seems. So Knox, and again someone from like around the way who I feel is kind of, I'm not sure how big, because again I feel like in this current climate, I think it's all relative. Big could be having one single that pops going,
but I've been out on a few occasions that I have been out, like, his songs are playing, and they're not really, I wouldn't really call them club type songs, but 2-3 he's kind of on that notes, like he's coming right up behind them in terms of, he's got a steady release of music, which is always a good thing to see in terms of what will happen with him, which is something that I have always like been onto certain people that I know. It's like, you can't drop a bunch of music, disappear, and then expect people to still care as much as they did. And it's like, it's simple. Like with Marks, for instance, like the pen game challenge was January, we're in April and we haven't heard anything since.
This is what I was saying though.
So it's like you gotta have like whether or not it's a schedule of, all right, I'm gonna drop something this month, not drop nothing, let that ride out and then drop something the following month after. But
yeah, but to me it seems there's no plan or schedule behind it.
So he's someone that I feel has kind of, although he's very young, he's got a vision of where he wants to be, and how he's going to get there is obviously I'll drop a video every month or I'll drop a single every month, and that it builds traction slowly until you might get the one that obviously goes. So he's someone that obviously has been doing that, and obviously he's collaborated with people like Notes already, so it's like I see him not maybe this year, but he'll build this year, and then maybe 2019 maybe make that big step in terms of obviously whether it be a label picking him up or something along those lines.
One last one on this, where it's not really I think they're gonna pop or anything, because as a collective they've all been doing their own things, but I think Vibba, like the steam they're gathering as a collective in like the last 9 to 12 months has been crazy, like in terms of
with them. I'm not necessarily surprised because the reach of the people that are involved speaks for
I'm
itself.
not surprised at all, but just on that topic, like I think they've got, again, it's a good team. Their team literally has everything and anything you need in it. They can do it all in house. Musically, I think I've liked everything that they've dropped. So the last two ones were Poets track, Free Cash, which was actually kind of dope. Like
Free Cash as well. Shouts to Stacky.
He actually rapped quite well. He had a lot of wordplay in there. I was actually quite surprised because the thing was with Poet, the way he comes across, he's quite witty, isn't it? So I didn't think it would translate so well in rapping. Obviously, years ago we've heard him MC and before, we've heard other bits, but I ain't gonna lie, I won't be rocking with it. But this,
I don't like Graham in general, I
actually like this. And then the newest track, they've got a track with Wiley, which for me, as a huge Wiley fan anyway,
I haven't heard it. I just heard the snippet.
Was what's it called? Shellers, I think. And they've got like one. There's like a 2 or 3 bar thing that they all say and use their own version of it throughout the track. And it's Wiley, Scribs, Pepstar, and I think
Pep as well,
and I think Geordie, and I
like Geordie too.
Do you know what? He's got, I think I can't say he's sick,
but he's alright.
But he's got a vibe about him that just kind of works. But shouts to them. That track dropped. I'm a big fan of that track, and they just seem like, I reckon they've got shitloads of music just ready to go. It's just like, okay, you keep seeing them pop up that they got DJ sets as a group or a live set here and there. Although I've never seen their live sets promoted, I keep seeing videos from them actually performing, which I'd like to go to a show of theirs if they actually promote it somewhere. But I reckon they're just going to keep dropping music.
Definitely.
I think that's their route right now in this singles based market.
Shakira, anyone?
Do you know who has like been bubbling like right there, but not? I don't think they've pushed over. Is Sinead Harnett, and she's so consistent with like releasing music.
She's
and
dope.
I always like.
She's
her
already
music,
there. You might not think it, but she's there.
It's like not to the level that I think that she can get to. Not to the level that I think she can get to.
Do you think she can get to like proper like pop, like
I do
mainstream level?
I actually do. I think that she's got that. What do I call it?
I think she's right there.
That quality.
She's got that.
She's got the.
That's what I'm saying. Like she has. Like she's got what it takes to actually have good music and appeal to people who love good music and still have that pop factor. She's got that. Yeah. She's got that, and I think that she can be bigger than what she is, definitely. But I do. I
have quite an extensive list, to be honest with you. Tion Wayne is someone that obviously currently is incarcerated, but he's another one of those.
You've been screaming Tion Wayne for years.
I've been like, you know what it is, yeah? Like, although, like, for instance, one of my other friends, like, we have similar conversations, but he's not plugged in as much to the industry. So we'll send each other tracks or whatever. Like, for instance, I remember sending him a Stefflon Don song from like 2014.
Yeah.
I was like, she's got something to work with.
Yeah.
If you know what I mean. So like, I feel I'm one of those people that whether or not it's ready to go, I can kind of see a trajectory for someone. So although I haven't really liked her music as such since she's been in position, I saw where she could have rise to. So with her, with Knox, I kind of spotted that as well. And I feel with Tion Wayne, he's got that, I wouldn't say star quality, but there's just something
he's versatile.
Something about him that I feel he can do both sides. So he's not a donut, innit? So in terms of like, we know he's about stuff, innit?
If you would have seen it, Riz basically gave us like a PowerPoint presentation of Tion Wayne's strengths and weaknesses in the WhatsApp group. He was like, so he goes, you know what, your artists have got this typical track. Well, you can take it here, you can take it here.
I feel that
he's not afraid to get down and dirty here either.
Like, in terms of, I
he
feel
covers
that
all the bases.
I think he's got enough of all of the elements in terms of what we would expect a rapper. So like, although I know it's mad it's gonna say this, obviously, like I was around like when Rims was doing his thing in it, and obviously his situation going to jail, whatever, has kind of like opened up a big lane for that type of rap. So when I look at like a bunch of these guys, all I can see is they're Rims, they're clones of Rims, like, if you know what I mean. So it's like a bunch of these guys, you all make music that sounds like Rims, that sounds like a like Mover. Like you've either got the super crud guys. So for me, you've got Mover, you've got Rims, and you've got Nines. Nines obviously is the better rapper out of the three, but Rims had the energy at the time, innit? And then obviously Mover was the street guy. So all three of those, they've all gone down different paths. Obviously Nines is now an artist. Obviously Rims and Mover are no longer in the picture. So you've got the street guys that appeal to the man them, but obviously, like, no homo, girls dig them, innit? I don't have a problem.
You have to say no homo.
No, but in terms of like they're guys that obviously girls will find attractive in some way, shape, or like because that's who will buy the music. You're gonna put me in an uncomfortable spot here, but I'm not letting you. But it's cool.
I'm just laughing. It made me laugh. That you
so I think Tion Wayne is like the perfect mixture of those two elements in terms of girls like him and the man don't fuck with him. So once you can play both of those off at a reasonable level, which I feel he's done, and obviously when he eventually does get released from jail, it's going to be interesting to see, because apparently he's already been signed, so that's another thing that is probably going to be in his favour.
Since you mentioned Nines,
I'm not a fan of it.
Nines has a new single.
I'm not a fan of it.
I See You Shining, There's literally
I like the video, don't get me wrong.
That's literally the name of the song. Yeah, the video is cool, but basically he hooked up with Still Bangles and got himself a Miss song, and just did Nines on a Miss song, which is cool when he featured on Miss album. That was cool, but this ain't it. Like, this is not it at all. Nah, like, I'm not feeling it. I was gonna come on and be like, oh yeah, you know, it was it's trash. It's a waste of space. You can't follow up your album with that.
Don't shy away from it, Ash.
No, I'm not shying away from it, because you know why it annoys me is because it took him so long to get into a situation. Like, One Foot Out was supposed to be coming out for years. He mentioned it on every mixtape, and then it came out, and look, it's a good album. It's still a very good album, but you can't come out from doing that. Now you're a fully fledged artist. As much as you're saying XL signed with a gangster, etc., etc., you're an artist now, innit? Like, so I feel like you've got standards to live up to, especially when Scraps his body and everything. Like, you can't do this. As soon as I saw the Instagram picture like a month or two before with him and Still Bangles, I was like, oh fuck, here we go. And I'm not, it sounds like I'm shitting on Still Bangles too, which I am, because
I'm not, do you know what it is? I was gonna play a Still Bangles for my break song, but nah, I feel like
let me put this into context.
I'm sorry, can we just
he set up his own joke. Like,
he said it sounds like I'm shitting on them too,
but I am.
I thought that he was gonna say
something
but
nice.
I'm not, but he said but I am.
Media Ash is coming through, man. I'm working on my part.
Oh my god.
He has
Well done.
he has the sound now, yeah, which some of it, like I like most of Miss EP that just came out, for example. Like I think Miss literally, so Still Bangles produced like 90% of it, so I do like most of it. But that sound in general, you know, when somebody's realised that, right, I can use these stock sounds.
Yeah, it's like, he sound like still pan music.
Yeah, I've got this, and if I like rearrange these notes by like, if I move them across 5 spaces, it's gonna make another banger. It's like, I feel like he needs to push himself more. So when I heard him and Nines has a lazy flow anyway. Like he borders on being offbeat a lot of the time, whether it hits or not. Yeah, more often than not, it does hit. So on a Still Bangles song, I was like, oh, really?
It wasn't a good marriage for me.
That's my rant on Nines to Still Bangles.
That was actually hilarious.
I know we kind of sidetracked here, but back to another artist, because I've
got more people you want to put. I think Joel Baker, I think, is gonna have a good time. He's had a lot of features, and he's got a very, very soulful voice. He's in that kind of Maverick Sabre lane. Yeah,
I'm not gonna get into any real depth, but I'm just gonna throw a few names out there. Ella May.
Oh yeah, of course. I was gonna say her as well.
She's obviously been bubbling.
She's been doing good.
So I think she's on the verge of crossing over to the next final frontier.
The final frontier.
Another one that I've kind of been onto from a bit earlier than most was Miss Banks.
Yeah. She can. You know what? She can really spit.
She can spit. She can go, spit. And it's like amongst the there's a batch of them. So you got like Miss Banks. You've got what's his name's cousin.
That narrows it down.
Nadia Rose.
Do you know what? I don't get it with her just yet.
She's someone that needs to find her.
Yeah.
She's more in the Little Sims lane. Yeah. I think that's where she's gonna end up.
To that vibe.
Nadia Rose, Miss Banks, and Trillery Banks. I feel that there's a clear distinction out of who is gonna be the better artist out of the three of them, because they've all kind of like come at the same time. So they all started a rap, although Trillery has been rapping for years. Yeah. But in terms of being like in the front, because obviously we've got this mythical figure who's obviously gone across to the States and signed with QC. Steph's like kind of like already there in my eyes. Yeah. So it's like Miss Banks is like for me the next one up to bat in terms of out of those cluster of artists that aren't necessarily there already.
Yeah, she could be there, definitely.
Yeah. Anyone else?
I was trying to look on my thing to see her.
I feel like there's others, but I've been so in tune to just like certain people's stuff that I can't even call it right now. Do you know who hopefully we want to get her on the show sometime as well? I think Tiana Major's on the cusp. I think she
I thought that for a while.
Yeah, but the only reason I say it is more of her recent stuff like Merry Go Round and stuff like that, I think is more in tune with radio play. So I could be wrong, it might not be on the radio at all.
To be honest with you, the only thing I will say about that is like she's again one of those mythical figures in terms, she's like the Loch Ness monster. Like in my eyes, whenever she does come around, I love what she does, and she's got a phenomenal voice. But again, it's just one of those things where you need to see you a bit. You need it to be just a little bit more visible. Yeah. In terms of like, I don't know when she's performed.
Yeah.
Because I would go. That's the worst thing. But like, I don't hear her performing live anywhere or stuff. And that for me is something that you need to do.
Yes, in terms
definitely. Of you need for.
Apart from rap, you really need to be out there performing and showing your craft. Where a lot of these guys' backgrounds, obviously they're not allowed to perform. Yeah. So Nines has rarely performed here. Scraps had his London show cancelled. So now he does out of town. Yeah, he's there, but that's what I mean. He's doing a tour now with no London date because obviously they weren't there. The London date got
cancelled. I mean, Nines did some shows overseas as well.
Yeah, he did Boiler Room in South Korea, which I found nuts. That was before his album even dropped.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially from here. Stateside, I don't think we need to really get into that, but I want to concentrate more on what's been popping over this side of the pond, to be honest.
What do we think of Tiny Boost? Now he's back home.
All right, just a quick, because I don't want to get too.
Just it's just a quick one because you said UK, so.
Tiny Boost is Tiny Boost for me. He's always gonna hold a special place in my mind. Like in terms
Which is why I asked, because I know like you and Foles and a few others feel a certain way about Tiny Boost. I love
Tiny Boost.
So.
Like his latest song wasn't really for me in terms of he addressed who he needed to address, and it was quite personal. So he's talked about a lot of the instances that he didn't mention no names, but you can tell he's like someone that's been locked up for the amount of time that he is. I feel that was the kind of thing.
What he did like 8 years, huh?
Yeah, he come out, but then I think he got recalled. So he came out about 2 years ago, but he had to finish the rest of his. Yeah. So, as long as there's there's a few artists from that era that I don't care really about the quality of the music.
You just want to hear them.
I just want to hear them.
Yeah.
So, anything that anyone from the SN1 can, and I know it sounds mad, but like I will easily like Joe Grand isn't really a great anything, but I will listen. I've got time for any of that camp.
Fair enough.
So, Boost, Kai's, even Killer Kai.
Like, Kai is always the.
I'll listen to their music, so I don't really mind. Like, it's not. I'm not judging their music. I just listen to it because it's nostalgia purposes.
Fair enough.
But yeah, just.
Before we go into the breaks, there's one more thing. It's more gossip type shit, but they're an artist, or so they say. Safaree. What do we think of the situation, and two, what do we think of the reaction? Because I find it all very strange. Because
I'll let Shakira start.
Go on, Shakira.
I'm a bit disappointed in people's reaction, to be honest, in that he was quite emotional about what had happened and whatnot, and I think that the response of people telling him, oh, you got to man up, or oh, you know, people have guns held to them every day, B, and all of this, like this response, it's a bit strange to me in that clearly
this is Shakira's awareness corner.
Clearly, like he's been traumatized by that. And was there not a situation with his uncle recently?
His uncle got killed.
Exactly, in that same. So, to me, wouldn't anybody with mental capability
compassion
realize that there's a link there? Like clearly, like of course he's going to be traumatized. So I don't know. It's just weird to me. Like, I feel sorry for the guy, to be honest, because I think anything that he does is heavily criticized. Like obviously, and it's fun to make jokes about these people. Cool. Like let's all have a laugh. But when like that's actually someone's mental health, like
just to.
I got my opinion on it.
My opinion on it is that obviously you got to judge Safaree the character and then Safaree the human.
Yeah.
Like no one, like if anyone's been around like any type of violence, like it's not nice, and I wouldn't wish it on, I won't say my worst enemy, but but
why did it? Why did the enemy?
So like, if I don't like you, innit, I wouldn't want you to like. I wouldn't mind, but I wouldn't mind. But in saying that,
I wouldn't leave no sleep over it.
It's just not a nice situation to be in, innit?
Yeah.
So on that, like, cool, innit? Like, that I probably feel a bit of a way that I wouldn't want that to happen to anybody. Like air quotes. But then at the same time, it's that we question the validity or how serious the situation is because he puts himself out there in such a comedic way. In terms of, I feel he played like he's a lot smarter than we give him credit for.
100%.
And he's a lot more savvy in terms of how to move than we give him credit for.
Yeah.
So the fact that he gets rushed in LA, for me, you're from the Bronx, Brooklyn, you move around in those types of areas, you know how to move, innit? So I'm not saying that he deliberately got rushed or he deliberately got a gun held to his head, but please believe he's gonna find a way to get his name in our faces again. Because it's like, for some reason, I feel he's like, not even for some reason, I don't particularly say that his music sticks to my ribs. Like, he doesn't, it's not for me, innit? So
his music's not for a lot of people.
It's not for a lot of people. So he needs to find a way to market his music that isn't necessarily going to be his music.
The last time was his dick pic, which
so
he then boosted.
I feel that he's always going to like use these scenarios to get himself talked about. And whether or not he's traumatized, or he could have come on there and talked about it and not cried, and people would have still been talking about Safaree, which is, in his eyes, the only ultimate goal, because people aren't checking for his music the way that he feels they should. So he's always going to have something to push his music or push him as a figure.
I think the whole situation, the way it came about, obviously he was set up. He was basically robbed from outside his house or around the corner from his house, pretty much. He was clearly set up. The people that then robbed him have then come back online saying that he owed them money, and that was them taking their money that he owed them or whatever. And then there was a video leaked of what looks like him literally fighting for his life, somebody trying to stab him, which I don't find funny in any circumstance. However, it does look very staged to me. You're not going to see... So he's against the wall and a guy is trying to go at him, and they're like literally, it's like a fight in Star Trek, like, and they're going like this, like just bare arms and stuff. And then there's somebody near them.
You know I like crud, man.
That's like talking shit. Like, not talking shit, but he's like, yo, come on. And then obviously the person behind him filming it. Like, I know we say about filming stuff, but literally if someone's like, if you're like a meter away from me and you look like you're going to lose your life, am I really going to stand there and film it? I mean, personally, I'm not. But
I'm not gonna lie. I've seen some wild videos.
So have I.
From
but
my
just
phone.
If it's a, I don't know, if you're a neutral, whatever. Obviously, I don't know what that circumstance was. But then that particular thing seemed staged to me. And then the whole thing going on radio, cool, go on radio. But personally, I don't think there's nothing wrong with being emotional. He's clearly traumatized. If that's what's happened, because I'm saying if because. No, we don't know the facts.
Like I said, we question the validity, but just because of his...
we question everything because we don't know how far he's going to go. But personally, I don't think it made any sense that if, like, 2 hours ago you got robbed at gunpoint, like with a gun to the back of your head or whatever, that you're going to go on Andrew Martinez and say, oh, I got robbed. Like, look, anybody can get it. Anyone. Like, a lot of the people that have commented cracking jokes in the same breath have been like, look, do you know what, it happens? Anybody can get robbed. Like, anybody can get got at any time. So that part of it is just kind of like, well, you know,
it's
shit
part
happens.
Of the territory.
Yeah, you know. But then also, as many other people have said, he knows how to move. Like, as much as he acts like a clown a lot of the time, I'm sure he can't be that much of a clown, because the likelihood is
he would be getting robbed a lot.
He would be getting robbed a lot, or he might even be dead at this point.
Yeah.
So it's, I don't know, and it's the reactions that get me, that it's like, fine, we know he's a clown, we know he's going to act up, we know a lot of it is to get attention and stuff, but he's still a person at the end of the day. So I made my fair share of jokes, but at the same time I was like, I'm only going to take this so far, because it's not cool.
In terms, just to go back on the reaction, it's funny to me, because like a lot of the stuff that you will see on the timeline, it's about, like, see, even with the recent wave of killings and stuff, like, you lot have this way of like doubling back in like the most subtle of ways to me, that is just highly ironic, because you want to scream stop the violence and all of these things, but then you'll laugh at someone showing vulnerability or any ounce of, like, you'll basically castrate someone for not being a man's man and being on a public platform crying. But then is that the whole hyper masculinity thing, and it has a, like, as much as you will castrate someone on someone, there's someone that's out there that will be on your block within a matter of hours, riding out, trying to avenge whatever he's lost. So whether it be a life, jewelry, like, there's a double standard. For me, on one side of things, you can't necessarily make fun of someone for showing that vulnerability but then at the same time, like, want to wave the white flags when people do resort to means of violence to avenge something that has taken place in a short space of time. So it's like, for me, what side of the fence do you lie on? Are you a freedom fighter, or are you like gonna take the piss out of people being like emotional about certain things? In it, like, to me, it's like, I can't really take you seriously if you're one day.
On the side note, I'm gonna take the piss out of everybody for everything.
Do you know what it is? I think
I'm like, Twitter for me is just jokes. I'm here for the jokes.
When you actually analyse like the fact that we generally make jokes and memes out of people displaying genuine emotion, like that is normal. That's become just normal. Like, there'll be pictures and memes and videos of people crying, and we use those to make jokes. So when you think about the psychosis of that, it's actually nuts. Like, I'm not saying people shouldn't do it. It is what it is, isn't it? That's how jokes are.
I'm not gonna lie, I like jokes, but then I'm more in tune with, like, I'm from the hood, innit? And I'm not, like, even with the recent
Go on.
I'm not with the recent shootings and stabbings, like, I'm not gonna get drawn out, but it's no surprise to me. And the fact that the media have decided to like put a lot of these out, I'm not gonna lie, I get a lot of reports of this person got shot at, or this person got. It doesn't make the news, innit?
Well, this is what I was saying as well. Is that obviously every year or couple of years they do this, and they start reporting every stabbing and every shooting, and it's not that these things weren't happening before, but they weren't making the news. But when they decide, we're going to start reporting these consistently, that's when you see it every minute. But it doesn't mean that it's not happening in other times. And what happens then for me is that the kids start showing off, bro.
Yeah,
like,
they
start acting up because there's attention on them now. Yeah. Like the guys that were on Insta talking about well, we got her and we got her man and we got this person and we got, because if you're chilling with my ops, why? Because they're getting attention. Like, you sort of giving them, you think that they weren't doing stuff before, they just didn't put.
I've got,
no one cared.
This is where I put my tinfoil hat on and I go all conspiracy. All of this now by the media promoting everything is just the first step.
Get us out of here.
Yep.
Get us the fuck out of here.
It's gonna mean extensive stop and search.
It's already been increased.
It's gonna get worse, and all of it is leading to, I don't know whether it's gonna be a form of martial law or something, or that the police are gonna have more rights, or they're gonna get other people involved. But there's only this consistent media coverage on something negative when there's a point to prove. So there's two things now. You've got one of police wanting more rights, police wanting to be able to, so police are just going to be wanting to drape up anyone and everyone and be okay with it, which they already do to an extent. And then the other side of it is clearly somebody wants to get Sadiq Khan out of being the mayor because he's getting bare stick when Shakira's right. This is nothing new.
It's not anything.
This has been going on. The only difference is, I find personally, is that it's usually in the summer that it gets reported. Because let's be honest, throughout all of the crud that happens in the summer, people lose their fucking head.
I knew it was gonna. I said it to someone the other day. I was like, they got 2 weeks to get it popping. It's like the warm up. It's like the pre-beef.
What amazing!
It's pre-season.
The same discussions come up.
Yeah.
Oh, we should ban drill, or we should ban this kind of music. Recently, the most recent one is, should we have the death penalty? And I'm actually genuinely thinking, are you people mad? You're talking about people who don't value their lives, bro.
Anyway,
like
they don't value them.
Do you think that they don't already have the death penalty? When you're going out there killing people, you don't think you're scared for your life every day? Are you sort of mad? You think, because the government's going to do it, it makes a difference. Like, I genuinely think that people who are far removed from that kind of life and far removed from the youth should shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
That genuinely, you have no engagement. No engagement with the youth. You've never experienced that life or been around anyone who's experienced that life. Shut the fuck up. You don't know anything, and that's cool. It's actually fine to not know anything. It's fine.
Don't make statements.
Just stop talking. Just stop talking.
That wraps us up.
Yeah, so we can do the breaks quickly before we back.
I gotta make it back, man. I was meant to be expecting a delivery at 1.
Oh, jeez.
Right. Better drive those roads fast. I have got a song from a group called Killiam Shakespeare. They're a Philly-based group.
Sounds.
They've worked with. They've worked with Jazzy Jeff and stuff. They've got a couple
sounds snazzy, jazzy.
This song is called "Drive Me Crazy," featuring Noel Scales, I believe it is. I've got a few tracks, but we ain't got time, so.
Gotta do that dance to this song. Gotta snap, yeah.
You drive me so fucking crazy, took a while. I've been standing so my eyes like a landing. Now I'm fading in a panic. I think I love you, but I don't trust you. When I feel like I need you, but I can't leave you.
Yeah, that's Killiam Shakespeare and Drive Me Crazy. They got a few songs, so I'd say check them out.
Shakira.
I'm gonna play a song by Iyama, and it's called Cryptic Love.
This sounds very barefoot.
You said it right in front of me. These are the lies I don't believe. It's always the same. Yeah. It's in your eyes. No need to speak. You fooled me twice. So shame on me. There's no way to save it. I've been a victim of cryptic love. I try not to witness these scenes too much. You fit the description and that's enough. Yeah. Who am I to judge? I've been a victim of cryptic love. I try not to witness these scenes too much. You fit the description and that's enough. But who am I?
That's nice. That's smooth.
Smooth. I'm gonna keep it on the same tempo. I was gonna play something by Mist and Mo Stack, but I'm gonna smooth it up. This is a song called "Come Over" by Ricardo Williams. He managed to get himself a spot on the Faith King and I tour.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah.
I know that sounded sarcastic, but it wasn't. I only said good for him because I don't want to go to the tour because I don't like the King and I album.
Yeah.
I love Faith, and last time I saw her, she was real good. But
I won't be with her on this ride.
I just can't do it. I was like, babe, no, the King and I,
The
no.
next time she does a tour, I'm involved. When it's not an album
Kelly's here
tour.
as well, actually.
Yeah, on Sunday.
She's here on Sunday.
I'm gonna try and go. Kelly Price.
Kelly Price.
Oh yeah, Kelly Price.
Last time I saw her, she was good. The only downside to Kelly was that rather than singing, she was giving us her life story about how nobody wanted to promote her as an artist because she was fat, and it's like, we know, Kelly, we still rocked with you.
Yeah.
Let go.
You sold a bunch of records.
Shit.
So yeah, this is Come Over, nice R&B vibe. Hopefully it plays.
That would be good.
Better play. Oh, we're having some technical difficulties here. Bear with me.
Yeah, so that was quite stressful about Kelly's last appearance.
You know, I do like that, you know, old school artists, I shouldn't even use the term old school, but older artists like to tell us their stories about their songs.
Yeah.
But only to a certain extent. Sometimes just perform,
Kelly
because I know some of you
all the tracks
some of you are only going to give us 45-50 minutes on
she's
stage.
like, yeah, they wouldn't let me sing on this one, and then she started singing. But actually, I went to the Blackstreet show the other day. Oh, there we go.
Sorry.
Got it.
Pirate home and lonely.
I like this already.
You keep telling me all these things that I can't take.
Same out on them. Come out with some smooth shit, and you're like, oh hey, here's one I made earlier.
You know he's always got the smoothness anyway. He just doesn't bring us in. So I'll never get over that shit. But I like this.
Come over, come over, come over, come over, come over, come over, come over. I'll show you, come over, all the things I do. Can't get off my mind.
Yeah, that's going on my list. On that note, playlist, Spotify and Apple Music. Search the breaks. We're like at the top or second. We're right there. We're gonna update them every time we drop an episode. Let us know if you're feeling them. Follow them, subscribe, share, etc., etc. Because if I do say so myself, they're kind of dope.
Yeah, man.
I genuinely like it.
Yeah, I did the Spotify one. Riz did the Apple Music one. It's all the same music, just ordered slightly differently because Riz is difficult like that. But yeah, it's good. And anything that we play that's available in streaming services will be on there. If not, you might get the odd replacement here and there. Like Riz's Noah track, the Pure Imagination sample one. The original's not on streaming stuff, so yeah.
So that kind of brings us to the close.
Interact with us. Use the hashtag BeatsRhymesLifePod. Yeah.
YouTube viewership, shouts to you, all 22 of you that subscribe.
Yep, thank you. It means something.
Yeah.
Appreciate you.
Peace.